Ready when you guys.
Do you have your correct microphone chosen, Colin?
Yeah, I've got my blue snowball.
There's a lot of static coming from your end.
Hang on, let me.
It's the cord, probably, but.
How about now? I just shut off my cooling board. What the?
No. Try here. Try unplugging it and plugging it back in, kind of deal.
Sure. How's that?
No, it made it worse somehow.
Made it way worse now.
And let me adjust my input.
You hear it too, right, Kevin?
Yeah, I do.
Huh, that's weird.
Skate or die. Die.
That's so wild.
Best part of that game.
What the hell's going on?
I don't know. What kind of cord does it take? Is it the one with the printer cord, or is it like a mini USB?
It's a USB. How about now?
Nope.
Record your audio in Audacity for me and play it back for yourself, and if there's static in it, then I'll answer. It could be Discord. It could be. I think it's just very sensitive right now. I think that's the deal.
Possibly.
Oh, move your cell phone away from the microphone.
It's like 3 feet away.
Alright, I tried.
Skate or
Testing,
die.
testing.
Die.
Testing.
Die.
Seems like he had one option in mind. It was like, die.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Well, I guess I will, fine.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, what happened there?
Testing.
There it is.
Whatever you did there, it works.
Whatever you did, it worked.
Yeah, but my input into Audacity is now very, very minimal.
But we can fix it.
Yeah, I switched it to setting 2 on the mic. Let me...
Keep it that one.
Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah. We can up the volume. We have the technology.
I have the capabilities.
Let me try setting 3. Testing.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's doing okay in Audacity, too. Well, not as good as number 1, but...
Ooh, you sound crystal clear now. That's wonderful.
You sound like a combination of Fergie and Jesus. Movie licenses, am I right?
Okay, cool.
Why doesn't it say now I'm hosting you? There we go.
Kevin, are you still watching Impact?
I just started before this. I only got right to the part where OVE comes out.
Okay.
Is it get a shit show again this week? Damn it, they were doing so good.
They were doing well for, like, at the tail end of the year, and all of 2019, it's just been horrid.
Nice. Yeah,
it's so boring.
I'll see. I just want a storyline to end. Just one of them.
Well, yeah, and every single storyline is like going on a month too long at this point.
Yeah.
Every single one. And
like, I don't know why Tessa's getting a million title shots. Like, she lost. It's over. Please stop.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, I'll see where it goes.
We'll see where. Yeah, I mean, it's rough. Yeah. I'm recording the wrestling cast later this afternoon.
Too many podcasts one day.
No, it's only like a couple hours.
Too many.
If that. Not long. All right, I'm ready to go. You guys ready to go? guys ready to do this?
My body is ready.
Body ready? Ready, body?
Think I'm ready?
Body ready, ready, body?
Yeah.
Just a heads up, guys. I've had an extremely busy couple of weeks, so I may or may not have much to say about each game.
That's fine. The games were like 2 seconds long each. It was really easy to play them all.
90s as fuck.
90s AF. All right.
So I got plenty to say on what I've been playing otherwise.
Cool. Let's do this. Counting down. 3, 2, 1, go. And good morning, Canada.
Hello.
I'm your host, JD, of the Red Leaf Retrocast, Retro Gaming Edition here. I'm your host, and joined by fellow Canadian, like I'm Canadian, Colin, how you doing?
How's it going, E?
How's it going, eh? Did you get your maple syrup?
I did, and my Tim Hortons coffee.
Oh, that shitty shit.
And it seems my igloo is melting because it's raining right now. Pretty bad.
Oh, no. And we're also joined here by Connecticut native, Kevin.
Y'all racist.
Stereotypes. They're a thing.
Is Canadian a race, actually? I just thought about that.
I mean, as much a race as being American is, I suppose.
You goddamn white privilege, I knew it.
Ha.
We got a fun episode today. It's episode 39, titled "These Are 90s as Fuck." Theme was my choice, and it was kind of a tandem choice because Kevin and I were talking post-cast, and we're like, we want to play these games. How are we going to pick a theme to play these games? That's what we came up with. We got some topics here, a little more Anthem, Google controller leak, Sonic live action character models that are Live 6 talk. Our main topic was came up by Kevin, how emulation has improved gaming, and then we're getting into our 6 games that are basically kind of, when you look at these, you go, yeah, 90s.
I think it started out as we were trying to find gross 90s games. We got to one, and then we were like, oh, this is a lot harder than we thought.
Yeah, maybe not gross, but it was definitely, I mean, we could easily pick all these games based on like TV shows of the 90s, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, those kind of games.
Yeah.
But these, I think the 6 games we chose were pretty interesting. A good variety of what was what represents the 90s.
Cool.
Yeah. Quick announcement, just to continue, get this out of the way. We got another contest going on, boys.
We do.
Yeah. This
Did I win?
Excuse me?
Did I win?
No, you didn't.
Oh.
If you are an anime fan, this is also coming from the Anime Cast. If you're an anime fan and you would be interested in winning a gift card to a streaming service for a few months, and you're a new listener, leave us a nice little iTunes review, Red Leaf Retrocast. Hit us up with the hashtag Red Leaf Retrocast. It is a gift card to High Dive, and we'll be announcing the winner just before the next new spring season starts. If you're a listener who's already left a review, just give us a nice little screenshot. I know who you are. So there you go. Want that High Dive gift card? Just enter nice little iTunes review.
Cool.
Yeah. You guys aware of High Dive? Heard of it?
Never.
Okay.
No.
Well, it's kind of a newer streaming service for anime, seasonal stuff and the like. Has a good little library. And
nice.
Yeah, High Dive was kind enough to give us a nice little gift card to give away to our listeners.
Very cool.
Yep.
Right.
Alrighty. And with that, what has everybody been playing in between the cast? That's not podcast related, of course.
Oh boy. Kingdom Hearts 3, I finished completely.
Are you satisfied?
God damn it, Tetsuya Nomura.
Purpose cliffhanger for Kingdom Hearts 4?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, God.
I mean, I'll try not to spoil it for the audience, although you guys already know because I bitched about it offline.
I knew Mickey and Sora again.
wanted to happen didn't happen.
What did you want to happen?
I wanted Sora and Caillou to kiss. They did not.
Of course not. Well, let me guess. It was they were just about to do it. Then like Donald Duck got involved. It was like, Sora, we gotta go. It was like, okay.
Not quite. It's more like. Actually, I shouldn't. I don't want to.
Nah, you shouldn't.
I shouldn't spoil for those who are still in the midst of playing it.
Mm-hmm. I bet I'm close.
Who remain.
I bet I'm close.
Of course, there's one other complaint I have that I didn't mention.
Okay.
Where are all the Final Fantasy characters? Literally, the only one that shows up in this game is a Moogle. Nobody else.
The Kingdom Hearts dumped the Final Fantasy thing a while ago, I thought.
Nah. Well, Dream Drop Distance didn't have very many Final Fantasy references either.
Yeah.
But that and Kingdom Hearts 3, those are the only two games thus far that have not had substantial amounts of Final Fantasy in it. It's like you'd think they'd even just have like a cameo of Lightning or something by this point.
The one that everyone wants to be reminded of.
Well, in Japan anyway.
She's a good character and very popular in Japan. No doubt about that.
Isn't she like a Gucci model or something too?
In Japan, I wouldn't doubt it.
No, she's a model for some branded, like American brand. Well, not American, but you know what I mean, like some popular brand in Japan. They actually used her.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no characters from Final Fantasy 15, I imagine either.
No Noxus.
No Noctis. Although maybe he'll pop up in the next game because the secret ending teased something that the Toy Story mission brought up, and they had like some really weird dark Final Fantasy thing in universe for that too.
We'll see in 2069 when it comes out.
People have theorized it was Tetsuya Nomura's original vision for Final Fantasy Versus 13. Yeah. But on a more pleasant note, I've gone back and revisited Celeste and Dead Cells.
Are you trying to get all the strawberries in Celeste?
No, I'm trying to beat all the seasides.
The new stuff. Oh, the DLC that came out, right?
No, this was already in with the game.
Okay.
Although I didn't know if I haven't heard anything about the DLC coming out yet. But
yeah, I haven't heard the news either. It was supposed to be out already.
I'll have to research it a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been, like I said, off of recording. It's been extremely busy for me these past couple of weeks. I've been getting ready for my trip to Japan next week.
Yeah, that should be fun. Ooh. That should be fun to hear from when you get back.
Absolutely. I'm going to take a ton of pictures. And it looks like my flight that I originally wanted to go on, the seats have pretty much filled up, so I'm leaving a day earlier. So I'm gonna have to stay in a little cubbyhole hotel for the night before I meet up with my tour group.
Oh, well, you just get like a hostel or something.
That's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's less than $50 a night to stay, Canadian.
Yeah, that's easy enough. Not bad.
Yeah.
What else have you been playing?
Yeah, like I said, Celeste and Dead Cells. I've gotten the furthest I've ever gotten in Dead Cells. Gotten to like the Hand of the King boss.
Man, I couldn't beat that. It was way over my head in difficulty. I'm sure if I like go at it for a week straight, I'd be able to get further. But man, it's a test for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Got that old school difficulty curve.
Yeah. I've also briefly played Darkest Dungeon.
What's that?
Ooh.
It's like a sort of a roguelike RPG type thing. Mm-hmm. Where it's like a turn. Yeah, it's like a turn-based combat RPG. And the twist here, it's basically the premise is that this old aristocrat family, they've basically died out, but they've got like this, they discovered some kind of evil hellish dimension below their mansion that also contains a ton of treasure. And then after the family dies out, adventurers from all over think they can try their hand at navigating that dimension to get riches. And then there's like this town that pops up around it, offering supplies and lodgings to all these adventurers. And then you, the player, have this whole band of adventurers who can go in. They all have their different capabilities. And you can go in. Now that
I am familiar with this game now. Okay.
Yeah,
I knew it sounded familiar.
Stupid
got
hard.
your typical turn-based combat, but there's also some really interesting rubs to it all. You've got, because if characters take damage in combat, their stress level goes up, and there are other things that can cause their stress level to increase. You got, like, if your torch starts getting really dim, then everybody gets really fearful and their stress goes up. Or if you get caught in a trap, that also causes stress to go up.
Oh, it came out on Switch?
Yeah, recently.
And Vita. Oh, well then.
The Vita version, not great.
Oh, is that what you played, Kevin?
I tried on there. Other than, I mean, if you're a frame rate whore, it's 30 FPS, but like the buttons on the back, like that touchpad, kind of suck.
Oh, one of those.
So,
well, can you remap them at all?
Not that I know of.
Bummer.
It's not like major, but like, man, you're really just like, I really wish this fucking menu would work. Really wish this menu would. Oh, there it is. I have to touch this part of the click. Got it. Okay. So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, once the character's stress level reaches a certain point, they'll become, well, let's just say they'll take on a really negative personality trait. Like they'll become abusive, and then start every time you do any of the other characters do anything, they'll like insult them, and then that causes their stress level to go up. Or less commonly, they'll become virtuous. And then start giving everybody encouragement and stuff like that. And then just got to go through different contained environments that, like I said, it's a roguelike, so they change.
Right.
And then you get certain amounts of treasure, supplies, and you got to really budget your supplies and your gold in order to effectively
roguelike game, inventory management kind of deal.
Yeah, it's really complex, but at the same time very intriguing. So I may get back to it at some point.
You're into those pixel art roguelikes lately, it seems.
This one's not so much pixel art as much as like painting art type deal.
It looked like Lifetriser.
Liftriser?
You mean Odin Sphere?
Odin Sphere, yeah. Lifetriser.
Yeah, that's not really pixel art though. That's more like,
well, it's the similar art style, right?
I guess.
That's what it reminds me of anyways.
In any case, I do kind of like the retro look with modern mechanics type deal.
Alrighty. Kevin, you've been playing some games.
I have definitely been
streaming
playing
the
games.
piss out of a lot of them.
I try to stream whenever I can. It's kind of a slight addiction. I have a problem. Help me.
Fair enough.
So I've been doing number one was doing Breath of Fire 2 because I have forever just wanted to play Breath of Fire 1, and I was like, well, that was okay.
Excuse me.
And then I was like, well, I might as well play the second one, but I learned from playing the Super Nintendo version of the first one. Everything's abbreviated for no reason. I figured it was Super Nintendo limits or something. Like, I don't know why they had to put PT.
Fire Emblem had that similar issue.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, maybe if I played in Game Boy Advance, like, maybe things won't be abbreviated. That was wrong. I don't know what any of the items are. It's just like, holy BT, and I'm like, who uses BT items? What the fuck are those? It was an okay RPG. It was just the encounter rate was really, really high. Like,
yeah,
to the
product of the
annoying.
time, for sure.
Way too high. I was like, this is like, and that actually goes into the discussion we'll have later of like, I'm happy I played it on an emulator, which I didn't want to, but my Retron 5 kept fucking up, and I think I fixed the issue finally. But yeah, Breath of Fire was okay. I don't know, I wanted to see it through the end. Is it a must-play RPG? Mm-hmm. No, but it's got a cool name. So that was mostly why I wanted to play it. What else have I been playing? Tomb Raider, the reboot I just started. I'm a little behind on the times. Yeah, I'm a little behind the times on that one. Really good. It's pretty much girl Uncharted, but not as tight. Like there's not really a good like melee attack to do. I don't know if you guys.
You're not really meant to do that.
No,
it's really a finishing blow. That's what you use it for.
But like I went in there trying to play like Uncharted, and it's not quite the same, but it's close enough. Really, a lot of like gore, and deaths.
It's pretty
really
cool.
Into they got really into that to the point where I'm concerned about the developer. I was like, oh geez, why do they have to really show Laura getting like impaled by that? But anyway, it looks cool.
It was kind of always a thing in Tomb Raider games. But
this was like.
Colin, you remember when we played the original Tomb Raider on the Sega Saturn?
Yeah.
And we'd make jumps and she'd just get spiked.
Yeah.
Was it always that bad?
Oh, yeah.
I know graphics, difference, but what else have I been playing?
I would say in the older games, the environment wasn't trying to kill you as much.
Well, you'd go into the environment that would kill you.
Yeah, pretty much.
There was the what else have I been playing? Monster Hunter Generations. It's the Monster Hunter
Switch?
Game. No, 3DS. I already had it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's just rough going back after you've been playing World, which like showed you the whole weapon tree as opposed to old Monster Hunters who were like, all right, well, this is the path you're on, accept it. But I wanted a fire weapon, too bad.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you gotta look up online or a guide what direction you want to go with that kind of thing.
Game that's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. They're really, I want to say early 3D platformer, but it's not. It was 99. It's fine. It's just like, you know what I really hate in games, and older games do it more, is like something that seems like it'd be a way to get the bonus ending in a game. Mm-hmm. Like in Pac-Man World, we were stuck on a level for 2 weeks, and we finally got through it, and then the rest of the game kind of rolled after that. We were like, all right, the final level's here, and the door wouldn't open. We were like, what the fuck? You had to go back and rescue all Pac-Man's little friends.
Oh, boo.
And I'm like, that's like a final, like, extra ending bullshit. Like, give me the bad ending at least to say, like, we did it.
I believe Parasite Eve 2 did something like that.
Yeah, it's dumb. I'm
trying to remember. It's been a long time.
Yeah. So we
I remember something screwy about the Parasite Eve 2 finish. That was along those lines. Like, oh, you didn't collect all of these things. It's like, well, why should I need to?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I don't hate Pac-Man World, but like, man, one level was just unbearable. So I was like, all right, let me look up what we got to do to find all the friends.
Right.
And no guide of the 3 people that decided to write a guide on a 3D platformer knew where all the friends were. But I saw one of the friends were on the level that we were stuck on for like 2 weeks, and I said, we beat the game.
We did it.
We did it. Like,
I'll look up the ending online. It's fine.
I'm sure the very intense lore of Pac-Man World, I will live without knowing the ending.
Oh, sure. Sure.
So that was fun. I still recommend the game, but just know that for next time, I guess. What else have I been playing? Oh, We Happy Few. That was the game I wanted to talk about. What did I say about it last time? It was okay?
Yeah.
It's still really okay, but it can... Alright, it was a Kickstarter game, and I feel like there's way too many systems in the game. Like, you gotta manage your normal survival of, like, hunger, thirst, stealth, whatever, things like that. But also, you have to wear certain clothes in certain areas.
Right. Yep.
But you also have a weight limit, so you can't really carry all these heavy clothes. Yep. So like now I'm in a town where like, oh, I got to be wearing a proper suit. If your suit's torn, people get suspicious.
Yep.
but I don't have space to carry that suit. So now it's like, well, you could go find scrap. How do I find scrap? Well, you can dig through trash cans and do that. All right, I'll dig through the trash cans. Hold up, partner. People don't like if you dig through trash cans in this neighborhood. So what do? I don't know. Well, in the time of figuring this out, did you take your joy? Because people can tell when you're after joy. Oh, no, if I lost my joy, what happens? People start to murder you. That doesn't sound very joyous of other people. So, like, there's just so much, there's way too much going on in this game where, like, because it was a Kickstarter, I feel like they took the suggestions of literally every fucking backer and said, yeah, we'll make that work. Yeah, we'll make that work. We gotta keep the Kickstarters happy, guys. Come on. We gotta do it. It's just, it's a whole lot going on in that game.
It was a mess, honestly.
It's still a mess. It's not the best game in the world. I'm happy I didn't buy it. But
it's not what it was supposed to be, though, and you know that.
No, I understand that part, and it's okay. It's not worth more than $20, but I like it enough to keep going. But like, here's something that got stuck. There was a part where I had to cross a bridge, but the bridge was out. Somehow my character knew how to fix it, so I had to dress up as a bridge worker.
Oh, I'm aware of that section of the game, yeah.
Yeah, while taking the joy pills. So I'm wearing a certain outfit, take a joy pill, but then I don't remember why. I was out past curfew, even though I'm a worker. So I literally there was no houses I can go in because people don't like that. So I had to literally sit on a bench and wait as the in-game timer went from like 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Ooh, Shenmue stuff.
And I had to sit on a bench with a newspaper to my face, which doesn't make sense because if I'm out after curfew anyway, you would be like, hey, why are you sitting on the bench reading a paper? But for some reason, when I was sitting on a bench, they're just like, nobody knows that guy on the bench. He's fine.
There's a lot of convoluted stuff in the game as well.
Yeah.
I remember when I was playing it thinking, because I was talking with Drew, and I go, and he was in agreement with the notion, why is all this survival stuff needed in the first place? So that's where you come in with the comment, a lot of these things felt shoehorned in and just compiled on each other. Yeah. It should have just been kind of a linear, it would have been so much better as a linear story, and you just have to like watch your joy pills and the curfew of the area, you know, the right. World rules, none of these other things that felt tacked on. And you just running around the town or the fields outside town or whatever. If it was linear, it would have been so much better. And
yeah, the second we were dying, and I had Tina look up how to, like, all right, we're dying a lot. Like, what do I do to fix it? She's like, well, she went online, like, you got to look up a place where you can fast travel. I'm like, fast travel? And then I looked at it, I'm like, holy shit, this is an open world? I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because it doesn't give the notion that it is an open world.
No, it doesn't.
And you don't feel it, you just don't feel the, like, why is this an open world?
Yeah. The worst mechanic in this game is that when you're about to die, if you have nothing to heal you, which I often never do for some reason, there's this red skull that pops on screen, and you just have to sit and wait for it to drain. And you can do nothing except to find stuff to heal you.
Yeah,
but if you're lucky enough,
hide in the trash can and just wait or something. Yeah,
you can't. If you hide in the trash can, you'll die. You have to heal yourself. So, if I don't have anything to heal me, I just have to sit and wait to die, and it takes forever. So I was like, well, maybe if I get to a checkpoint, I'll see what happens. If you're dying, there's no checkpoints. You just wait to die.
Bummer.
This game
it's games like that. I mean, we could have a whole podcast episode over kind of the state of Xbox exclusives and these companies that they bought recently, which we kind of did on the Modern Cast. We kind of had hopes and dreams about it all.
Ninja Theory is going to be fine, I think.
Ninja Theory should be fine. However, with the history of Xbox working with studios, they don't go well at all. Just look at the Crackdown studio.
Hey man, they like crack.
Like the only one that has a solid ground to run on is the Forza studio that was bought. But they're up to 7 mainline Forza games and 4 Horizon games, and they all now have that live service formula, so that's a problem in itself. They all have these same issues regarding them all. So I'm not 100%, like, Ninja Theory is like one of my favorite studios out there. I haven't played emo Devil May Cry. I kind of want to now. I'm on a little Devil May Cry kick. Because I did get to play the 5th one yesterday, and that game's tons of fun. I'm very happy it's good. I was very worried about it.
I didn't see that game being good, I'm being honest, but
no, I mean, there was a lot of signs that were kind of telling us that Capcom might screw this up. And yeah, there's microtransactions kind of shoehorned in. But luckily it's not kind of what we were fearing, where you're gonna have to buy special moves and that kind of stuff. It's nothing like that, so that's good.
What is it?
Shortcuts, basically. It has the you can use the microtransactions as pay-to-win elements.
Wow, that's whack.
Yeah. But other than that, it's a Devil May Cry game. It's back to... I haven't played Devil May Cry since 3, so...
I heard 4 was okay.
Yeah, I did as well. But... been playing Deltarune. I was hoping to finish the Chapter 1, because it came out on Switch recently.
Right.
I only got to play a couple hours. Just doing other things. And that game is, I mean, if you're a fan of Undertale, I mean, Deltarune is Chapter 1 it's free. There's no reason not to get it and play it. It's quirky, it's fun. Colin, you'd love it for sure.
Yeah, I've got it on my desktop.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten around to playing it.
It's a full-fledged fucking game. It's like 4 or 5 hours, you know?
Nice.
And it's
How's
free.
That full-fledged?
Well, you know, there's games out there like To the Moon, Brothers, that, you know, they're 4 hour, they're short games, but they're full experiences, you know? It has all the content in it that you need for the story being told. That's what Deltarune Chapter 1 is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, it's free, Colin. It's free.
I have it. I just haven't.
It's free.
I have no interest in playing anything Undertale, really. Sorry.
Do you just not like them?
The fandom really turned me off completely.
Oh, don't let fandom ruin a good experience for
I will
a game.
absolutely do that.
Oh, you suck.
It got real weird. The second I started getting interested in Undertale, I saw like enough videos, and I was like, okay, I think I understand this whole game without ever playing it. Like,
oh.
And then I was like, well, I don't understand the gameplay if I'm not fighting anything, if it's an RPG.
Well, the fandom isn't around Deltarune, it seems. I don't hear much of anything being talked about it because it's just a chapter, essentially.
Well, that's the thing. Now I want to wait for the whole game to come out. Like, I like Life is Strange enough, but I want to wait till all of the second one's actually
here's
out.
Here's the thing:
you know?
it's not guaranteed that this game's going to come out.
There you go. Why am I going to get invested?
Because it's a fun experience.
No,
it's not a big time investment.
You're not a big time investment.
What is a big time investment are the other my 2 little side quests I'm doing with the Resident Evil series. I'm still on Code Veronica. That game is, I've hit a wall.
Oh yeah.
The backtracking is the worst.
Really?
Yeah. The Resident Evil Code Veronica backtracking mechanic is 3 times longer than any other Resident Evil game I've played.
Backtracking mechanic?
It is a mechanic.
Oh no.
It is a straight up mechanic, because where things are located. You know how in Resident Evil 2, you know, you unlock shortcuts and the map kind of rolls on each other, and then you learn the map a lot easier? Code Veronica doesn't have that too much. It's very linear in that sense. So you're proceeding through the game in this linear fashion. Then you might hit a fork in the road, and when you're done with that path on the fork, then you have to go all the way back to like where you first started, and then you open up another path, kind of deal.
Oh, jeez.
And all the way going back, the zombies are twice as fast as they've ever been, so you just die all the time, or at least in my case. So I'm not very good at Code Veronica, and I have it on the Dreamcast, so the controller's kind of frustrating as well.
I lost you guys for a second. Sorry if you said something to me.
Yeah. And then I've kind of made it a mission to try and like finish a couple mainline Yakuza games.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, me and Jay spoke about it on the latest Modern Cast episode of February, and we just praised Yakuza 0 for a long time, how story-ridden it is, and goofy on just upper level. So go, I encourage everyone to listen to that. So, with that, still haven't beaten Wargroove. I'm like the last two. I have just about 2 missions left, and they're fucking hard.
That's that Advance Wars game, right?
In a way, yeah.
To
keep it simple, yeah. $20. It's good. I've gotten a lot of hours out of it. That's for sure. A lot of time.
Nice.
Yeah. To me, it was the best game that came out in February. That's not named Apex Legends. Yeah. Alrighty. With that, let's I'm gonna play the nice little Chrono Cross drop. Maybe you'll hear a commercial here or whatever, I don't know. We're 30 minutes into the show. Let's get on to our first topic.
All right.
Colin, why don't you take these topics away? I want you to spearhead this thing here.
Okay. First on the chopping block is Anthem and how horrible it's being, particularly that it's been apparently crashing some PS4s.
Yes, it has. There's a lot of things that's going wrong with Anthem.
Yeah, I've just been hearing a lot of people saying that it's very much just a Destiny clone, just with like Iron Man suits.
It tries to be.
Seems that way, yeah. And I've heard a lot of people saying that there's really not much to the single-player story parts of the game, which people found extremely disappointing because BioWare is known for very rich storytelling, like in Mass Effect or Knights of the Old Republic. Mm-hmm. And the load times have been notoriously bad.
Yeah, that's one thing that we forgot to... We were talking about just about everything else on the Modern Cast about Anthem, and of course more news came out after we did the episode.
Oh, jeez.
But we didn't even mention the load times. It just totally slipped our minds. The load times are atrocious. Kevin, do you remember... I don't know what your experience was with like Sega CD games or aware of like the Neo Geo CD.
I'm aware of them. I know that the Neo Geo CD still loads slower than the Hyperscan.
So
just for reference,
there are sections of Anthem where you do, whether it's your typical protect this thing, and you just get the hordes of the basic enemies at you, and that might last 60 seconds, and then end of mission, load screen, and then the load screens last longer than the missions.
I heard the load screen for like there's a load screen to switch your weapon.
Yeah. You can't change your weapons in mission or something.
Oh,
or
that
in game,
is bullshit.
you have to do it. Free roam is a total mess. Since day one, there's just been patch after patch after patch after patch. Much like Sea of Thieves in a lot of ways. But instead, Sea of Thieves wasn't a busted piece of shit. It just lacked content. In Anthem, it's a busted piece of shit and lacks content.
Like the problem is you should know better to not buy these like games and services day one at this point. But then the juxtaposition is if nobody's buying it, then they're not going to support it and never improve it. So it's like you can't fucking win.
Well, unless you're Ubisoft, they tend to do that because for some reason.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really see EA doing very well if Anthem doesn't end up succeeding.
Well, here's the thing. Anthem is selling well enough, and there's a lot of people playing it for now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Just because it's the new hit thing and it was hyped to fuck and in all of this. So there's no denying that people are playing this game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend that's personally playing it.
However, and I was curious to what you guys' thoughts of this, because I was talking with Jay about this again, Modern Cast. You have these live service games that totally lack content, and you have what they're calling the roadmap, to releases. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get to another game where it's a huge issue just in a second here. My opinion, just to reiterate a little bit, is this is unacceptable, because then you can't keep your fucking player base engaged enough for that roadmap to even matter anymore. Sea of Thieves is a great example of that, right? There was no content at launch. Everyone stopped playing after like a week or two, and now it's good. To me, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're a year later after the launch of that game, pretty much.
It should be a complete game on release.
Right, and then you add content.
How dare you try to make sense? Yeah,
well, see, that's logic, right? That's
hey,
using logic.
Somebody has to.
Where's the profit in making a good product immediately?
Kevin, you're absolutely right.
I should work for EA.
We're fools.
They'd kick you out immediately because you actually talk sense.
That's a good point.
No, they'll lock you in. They'll lock you in their EA basement with clips over your eyes, and forcing you to go by their rules and regulations.
How dare you?
A la Clockwork Orange type shit.
Yeah.
There's a reason why year after year EA is regarded as like one of the worst companies to work for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember when they used to be cool.
There was a day. I mean, we've covered games on this cast where that was when they were Electronic Arts, full name stop.
Yeah, like up to PS3 era, they were all right. Like,
dude, they had the 3DO.
I take everything back. I know what
oh no.
EA was never cool.
They never made Need for Speed. I hated it.
I did spend way too much time on Need for Speed Underground 2 on the Wii specifically.
Why, that is very specific.
Because it had the driving wheel to go in. That's why.
Yeah. Could be fun, I suppose.
I liked my neon lights on my car.
So just real quick here, Anthem is changing their loot. So apparently when you reach a high level, now they're saying that once you reach like level 30 or 35, I forget which one it was, I didn't write that part down, you will no longer get common or uncommon drops. And that's not what the players were complaining about. It was because the randomness of the drops weren't like the algorithm for it all was basically worthless.
Yeah, I saw an article actually that said day one Anthem like weapon drops are more powerful than the end game ones.
Yes, your starting gun is more powerful than anything else you get in the game. I read that
like,
too.
Why the fuck would you do that? That's like, I'm not a game designer. What?
I mean, you just look at what the Borderlands formula was in 1 and 2. Like, everything is unique, interesting, and it keeps getting better as you play the game. That's your incentive. And that's a story game. Just a story experience. This is a live service game where you're supposed to...
What if they just made Borderlands?
Well...
Because EA hates single player.
Yeah. You got a good point. Sorry about that.
It is sacrilege to them to make a purely single player experience.
That makes sense. You got a good point there.
So yesterday, I was playing Devil May Cry 5, and next, like two systems down, there was a couple guys playing Anthem on PS4s, right? And then all of a sudden, I hear, "What the fuck just happened?" Because apparently they were in one higher mission or whatever, and the PS4 did crash on them.
Oh no!
Yeah, and it kicked him out, and he lost. He didn't gain anything, right? So,
oh shit!
People were using the term bricked, and that's not the correct term for it, right? Because when you hear the term bricked, you think like it's fucked. your whole console is totally broken and it's over, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So what's actually happening is a bug, like just a weird bug, and I don't know. So something triggers the PS4 to have like a surge. Follow me so far?
Yep.
So think of you're playing a game and your power goes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so what you have to do is unplug the console from the back and plug it back in via the power, right? And that'll reboot the console. And it makes the hard drive have to like catch back up, reformat itself. What ended up happening, and this was the video game store's PS4, is it ended up wiping the entire hard drive of save data.
Fucking great.
So it didn't
Wait a minute.
break the PS4, but it erased everything.
Shouldn't Anthem, because it's an online game, shouldn't all that be cloud stored on EA servers?
I think you have to like exit the game and then it'll save to the cloud.
Not
you have
the
to
PS Plus cloud. The like when you play like Call of Duty online, it goes on Activision servers for your online character.
I don't think that's a thing. But
well, that's stupid.
I don't think that's a thing. I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe someone else, maybe a listener will know the answer to that better than I do. But because one guy uses that PS4 a lot to play some of the single player experiences, and his save files are gone for the other games. So that's like a different problem altogether. So it's not bricking the PS4, but man, it's as close as you can get. It's a mess.
Oh, boy.
The game's a mess. My whole theory is this is going to be like Battlefield 5, where there's just not enough content. Sure, you're going to get some people playing, hundreds of hours. There's always those people, right? I mean, just look at the Fallout 76 dude. Right?
Yeah, the guy that got banned, you mean?
Yeah, he puts so much time in there that he's banned. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Oh, jeez.
But Anthem to me is just like the Fallout 76 problem. It really is.
I am proud to say I never bought into the hype.
No, I was always skeptical from day one with Anthem, especially with all the problems you kept hearing as development was going on. And so the end product's not surprising. But to this extent, it is surprising.
Yeah. So it happens when you try to rush your games out.
Yeah. That's EA for you. So it's like, why bother? Why would you fall for EA anymore? Period.
I am excited. I wish I had time to listen to more podcasts as I normally listen to, because there was this one girl on Kind of Funny who was dead set on Anthem being good, amazing, but however the message she always preached was like, hey, play the game for yourself, like don't live in the hype, like take every game at face value. But I don't know if she's still like trying to champion Anthem or be like, no, it's bad. I really wish I had time. Because, yeah. Oh, so going to the crashing thing, and my friend who... Take this with a grain of salt, because my friend can't be wrong about anything in life.
Okay.
He's just one of those people, like, you can tell him the sky's blue, be like, no, sometimes it's black at night and it's gray if it's, one of those people. He's one of those, and he has Anthem, so I asked him, like, hey...
7 colors in a rainbow. Well, actually, when you take the ultraviolet light to it, yeah, one of those people, yeah. Yeah,
he's one of those. One of my best friends, but sometimes I want to punch him in the mouth. And he asked, like, hey, you have Anthem, like, has it crashed on you? Have you had, like, issues? He said no, but I guess, supposedly, he's looked into it, and I guess this crashing is more of a problem with digital copies of the game and not physical ones.
Oh, interesting, because it was a digital.
Yeah, so he has a disc, because I don't think he knows that the internet exists. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a digital thing. I want to look into that also.
Okay, I hadn't read that. That's an interesting point to it all.
Again, he's one of those people that will also champion anything that he was set on before. Like, I think he was rooting for Skylanders till the day he finally said, like, I'm bored with it now. So, here's that.
You can get bored with a game. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, but he was like, I was like, hey, look, man, this is becoming like a money pit, and you also have like no room for these.
Hey,
no, but you don't understand.
I will tell you
I'm
this,
like,
Kevin. Skylanders was super fun because it was an easy game, and Colin, didn't we, you, me, and Colin, were you there when we did Drunk Skylanders?
No, I think that was you, John, and Red.
I'm not saying it's not
right.
a good game.
I would have loved to have been there for that, though.
Oh my god, Kevin, let me tell you how to play Drunk Skylanders. This is super fun. You put the game on the hardest difficulty level, right?
Already sounds great.
Okay. It's still not that hard.
Okay.
However, your characters will die. So, because it's not on a live system, all you have to do is put a new Skylander on, right? Okay. And then when you complete a level, they all come back. Well, if you die... if your character dies, you take a shot of something, and then you tag someone in to do it. And then when someone dies, you tag the next person in, and you just what we were doing was we picked like our 3 or 4 favorite ones, and if all 3 of your characters die, then you're out. And you have to like chug a beer or something. It was just the most ridiculous rules. It made Skylanders so much more fun and intense because we're like, no, I can't die. I don't want to drink anymore.
Who the fuck thought of Skylanders drinking game?
We did.
Clearly, I see that. Just not the first game I'd want to play.
Yeah. It's on the YouTube channel. It's still there of us playing Drunk Skylanders. We definitely played more sessions of it. It was ridiculous.
Next job interview you go to is like, so you play Skylanders and we're drinking it with this? I'm just shocked you were playing Skylanders, sir. How dare you? I don't think you're right for this company.
I've even played Drunk Skylanders with my mom because the game's super easy.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I get this. This is great. Just mash this one button and go up. I'm like, yep, that's it.
Baby's first Diablo.
Baby's first Diablo. Love it. All right, let's move this along. We're running a little bit behind here.
You're running behind.
Kevin,
your mom.
You posted some pictures in our chat here. And
yeah, that's right. There's not much to say on it because I don't know anything about it. I saw it this morning. Google has a game console probably coming, and that controller exists. I hate it.
It
does not look comfortable to hold.
No, the way I described it before you got here, Colin, was like if you look at one of the pictures with the pad where you can see like how deep it goes, it looks like it just like clicks, and it looks super stiff and not comfortable. I just do not like that thing. Those analog sticks look super flimsy too.
It looks cheaply made.
Yeah, it looks. You said Ouya controller.
Right, that was the first. The square design of it really reminded. Like the first thing that came to my mind was the Ouya controller.
Do you think the plates come off so you could change the batteries? Because that was good, right?
It was definitely not intuitive.
No, that was awful.
Yeah, the analog sticks are parallel like a PlayStation controller.
Hell yeah.
The D-pad looks
awful.
It does not look good. I agree, Kevin. It looks like it clicks. The buttons look really small.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with small buttons. Like I use a third-party controller for my PS3 a lot that has small buttons. Mm-hmm. Fine, I don't mind that. But like those sticks being right on that slant, I don't feel like that's good right there. You see what I mean? Like it looks like it's going to travel a whole lot.
A broken analog stick seems to be in its future.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to play the greatest
there was a
Android
microphone
games,
button on it, which I think is interesting at the very least.
Yeah, it's probably a big, hey Google, launch Crossy Road.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, that's probably all it's gonna.
Is this gonna be like a Steam box? Isn't that what we were reading before?
I didn't read anything. I saw this controller just now.
Yeah,
I know nothing else about it.
I wonder how it's gonna work out.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't want another console manufacturer. Honestly, I'd rather go down to. If I'm being honest, I'd rather be like the whatever Nintendo's doing and the other system, and then fucking PC, whatever.
The occasional PC game, right?
No. Just go play Minesweeper on your own.
Oh. Alrighty.
Space Cadet Pinball.
Yeah, it's not a good looking controller.
Ooh, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I saw this on the internet, boys. And there's the Sonic live action movie design.
Oh boy.
I know this came out like weeks ago, but I just saw it the other day. And Sonic looks absolutely horrifying and dumb.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I hate it. I hate society. I hate that we've allowed ourselves to come to this. I don't like anything about it at all.
He doesn't look like Sonic at all. He looks like a human that got blue fur.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he is voiced by the guy from Parks and Rec.
Not familiar.
Was it Jean Ralphio or whatever?
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I'll just go fuck myself.
The thing is, with this design, you could very easily make it tolerable. Just change the eyes to look more like the video games, and then that would make all the difference.
There have been fan creations in response to this, like just manipulated the same design into looking like Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. One tweet I found was that hard? Yeah, so that was the good one. Kevin, you brought this to my attention. Is the next one, the next short topic or short thing is the Dead or Alive 6.
Yeah, I know a little about it. I'm not an expert, but apparently it's not done. It's like almost as bad as 5, where Dead or Alive 5 had more DLC, I think, than the actual game. I can't remember the actual cost of all the DLC. I think it was like up to like $80 or something, if I remember right. But apparently, Tecmo didn't learn, because Dead or Alive 6 is doing the exact same thing. $100? Did you do the math, or did we say $100?
It's $96.
What the fuck is wrong with people?
It's gross.
And and people are okay with this.
They're like, well, I mean, whatever. You just get more stuff. Like, no. And actually, to tie it in with a game that I know more personally, like Dragon Ball FighterZ, a game that everyone loves. It has like $30-something of DLC, but it's all characters that like you want to play. Mm-hmm.
And that's like my big issue with fighting games in general now. It's like mostly it's a good game, but then it's like key characters like Android 17 that I would want to play. Is like, yep, there's $3 for that. Here's $3 for Broly. He's $3 for Bardock. And I looked at the whole list, and it was like $35 for the characters. I was like, what the fuck? This is half the price of the game.
Yeah, I don't agree with those practices, because the roster was small to begin with, right?
Yeah, I thought it was super underwhelming. I was like, oh, all right. As long as the game's good and the gameplay is kind of simple, it's not awful, but
it was simple. It had content in it though as well, other things to do other than like 1v1, right?
See, I disagree, because I thought the story mode was garbage.
Well, no, it was garbage, but it existed.
It did exist. Right? I'm not going to take that away from it.
Dead or Alive 6 just doesn't have any fucking content. It lacks everything.
Yeah.
Right? Even from an online perspective, there's only ranked play. That's it.
That sucks.
Yeah. Does this sound familiar?
Very much.
Yeah. It's Street Fighter 5 all over again.
Yeah.
When I was getting all that. And worse. It's worse, in fact. Because it's an even smaller roster.
Oh no.
There's no content. It's an unfinished game. It costs $60 plus the $100 season pass. It's a season pass. It's not even DLC.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So you're spending $160. There was a game. There was a fighting game that came out on the PS2. I remember this. I think it was like a Capcom SNK game, something like that. And it came out as $120, just straight. But there was like 90 characters in the game.
Cool.
Oh.
Right? It was like everybody you can imagine. And it was Just the special edition, $120. Everything's in there. All these modes, flat rate 120. Dead or Alive 6 isn't like that.
Yeah, there's I just don't understand, like, what happened. I mean, I guess, what just happened to making a game and being like, yep, we did it? Like,
I remember when, I forget which NHL it was that came out, but it was one of them in recent years, where half the modes from all the previous games were now gone. And all NHL fans were just like, well, then why am I going to buy this game?
Oh, when the PS4 came out, all the EA titles had like nothing in them, like the Madden, the NBA, or not, Madden, FIFA, and like NHL. They had nothing in them. It was like exhibition. Yes.
Yeah. Well, NHL was the most egregious of them. I remember that specifically. And yeah, it was super bad. The game sold like shit because none of the NHL fans were just like, well, shit, I'm just gonna update my roster and keep playing this one. That was it. There's no incentive to buy the next game when you're not doing anything to make it better, right? Trials Rising is another great example of that. It's not even the same game that you got last time, and nothing about the new one is better or improved. In fact, it's less game. So why bother? Yeah. So $160 for Dead or Alive 6 at the end of the day, that's fucking stupid, and it's still not even finished.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, it makes me not want to buy a game day one, which I really don't do as it is, but like, I know that they're going to release this all later and be like, the Ultimate Edition.
Well, especially with fighting games. Yeah.
Well, there's that, and also I know that this same series has literally done that, like, recently, so who are you going to fool with this?
Plenty of people, apparently. Everyone's like, there are people I'm reading, they're like, this is a great game. I'm like, no, it's not. Well, it plays well. From what you can do, yeah, sure. The fighting's fine. In fact, it might be a little bit improved from 5. That should be expected. I'm not going to praise something for meeting expectations.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Just people. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah. All right. Last topic. How emulation has improved gaming.
Fucking Breath of Fire. God damn it.
All right, here comes.
With that high encounter rate I was talking about, all right, especially in a turn-based RPG. Back in the day, you had nothing to do but walk, do the little animation. That means you get encountered, you fight it, it's over, and then you got to do that 20,000 more times. In a game like Breath of Fire, the encounter rate may have been every 10 steps. Fuck, if I didn't have a turbo button, man, on an emulator, I would put this game down. And like little things like that in old RPGs, or really emulate like retro games in general. I don't know, maybe I'm spoiled.
Playing the early Pokemon games on 2x speed.
Yeah, like, fuck. Like, I love RPGs, but sometimes, like, the battling is the worst part, because you're just like, attack, I know I'm gonna win, so, like, let's go. You know?
The skip button.
My god. Yeah, I was getting to the final area, and I was, like, 10 levels under-leveled, and by that I mean, like, I just wanted to kill the thing. So
I hate it when that happens.
So I was like, man, I gotta grind, but I don't want to do this, but I had my controller hooked up, and I held down the left trigger for a turbo button. Holy shit, grinding is way better in RPGs. How did I live for? It's just like, it's one of those things that, like, if I showed somebody Breath of Fire 2 today, they'd be like, why do I want to play this? This is boring as shit. But, like, with the help of emulation, like, it just makes some games more bearable. There's also parts in it where if I didn't have a save state, I would be like, fuck this, I'm not playing it anymore, because you, like, make the wrong decision. Or you go in an area where you're not ready for yet, but you can't escape by normal means. But luckily, I had a save state outside of it.
I've had that happen to me in quite a few Final Fantasy games. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't think I can play anything pre-PS1 anymore without, like, a Retron 5 that allows me to save state, because if you want to actually have the cartridges. But, like, there's some, like, we were playing a game for the cast recently.
What, like Lion King or something?
Yeah, there it is, Lion King. Like, I couldn't get through that fucking stampede if I save state every 2 seconds. Like, that game is literally meant to be impossible.
Yeah, the jumping was very floaty.
Everything in that game was floaty.
Everything was off key.
Yeah.
What I like to do with emulation, how it's improved, at least from a retro perspective, is if I get really frustrated at a level, instead of starting the whole game over again, I'll just pop in an emulator, play up to that point, and I'll save right before it, and then I can practice at those sections. Mega Man is a great example of that.
Yeah.
Just about every Mega Man game I've played, I've emulated like at a boss, or at least with the boss gauntlet. And that gets me to practice. You know, I'll get like halfway, okay, save state, get to Wily save state, figure out how to beat him. Okay, now I can pop the original in. And now I feel like I'm good enough now to do it, instead of, because at the end of the day, you have a finite amount of hours in the day you can do all that. It's a good little time saver, and you don't feel as it's as punishing as it used to be, you know?
Right.
What about you, Colin? You don't really emulate a lot, do you?
Mostly with older games. But yeah, save states are the biggest thing. It's just, I mean, when you're a kid, you have a lot of hours to try and get through certain things over and over again. But yeah, now as an adult, save states are a huge lifesaver. That is, if you're looking to get past a certain section. Because you like the game, but there's that one section that just totally screws you over unless you have save states.
Yeah. Contra Hardcore comes to mind, because that's a game nothing but boss fights. I remember save stating the shit out of the final boss fight in Ristar, or Ristar, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just couldn't avoid, I don't know what it was, but I couldn't avoid the final lightning attacks. I was like, this is bullshit. Emulate. I played all the way up to that point again. I was like, I still can't do it with the fucking emulator.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I like the playing double speed or the turbo option. You're right, Kevin. That is a major improvement, especially for RPGs. I believe I did that when I was because I have like a Genesis and NES emulator on my PSP, and when I was working offshore, I was playing through all the early Phantasy Star games, and those are grind fests at the end of the day, and so like a turbo button was beautiful to have.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind doing a little grinding here and there in RPGs, because that's what you sign up for. But when a game has such a high encounter rate like Breath of Fire, I was like, there's no way I would want to do this otherwise. Now, you want to know what would be the solution to that is what if every game found it, where like if the game knows you're going to win, it did the math like ahead of time. It's like, you're going to win this battle. You are very overloaded. You find the enemy, and the game just cuts black, comes back, goes, you win. Like, it knows you're going to do it, you know?
I know, yeah. I also liked how in Earthbound, when you get to a high enough level, the enemies start running away from you, getting out of your way.
Right.
Yeah, that was quite nice. Yeah, there's a lot of things games could learn from, and even from the past. Like when we're playing modern games of today, there's a lot. Obviously, the live service model, shoot-in microtransactions are really hindering a lot of games from being good. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of improvement in the quality of life factor.
What do you mean?
So, take... okay, I'll give a good example. Take the Crash Bandicoot remastered series, right? How the original Crash Bandicoot, you had to go through like a bonus level or beat a boss to save the game, right?
Right.
And if you got a game over, which in the original Crash Bandicoot was quite easy, because it was difficult, still is, you would go back to where you last save, right? So let's say you come across that final island and every single level starts to be really tough.
Yes.
You go back 2-3 levels, you're just like, oh no, I'll never beat this, right? In the new one, they improved it by you get to save basically at every level, right? Also, if you die enough, then you automatically get gifted the witch doctor character as per an extra hit now. So like things like that are very good. Now, a bad example would be, let's say, let's go back to the whole Anthem thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know Mass Effect is capable of a story-ridden game. You've advertised this as such, right? Just at E3 last year, it was advertised as such, and then what we ended up getting were fetch quest missions the whole time.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
How is that acceptable? Those kind of things. So
I think I remember one YouTuber saying there's only 3 different kinds of missions in Anthem. It's like fetch quests, tower defense, and just whittling down a giant boss. They just said there's like no creativity to the to the quests.
Exactly. So quality of life, things like that, you just don't get a lot of it in main games. Because I remember growing up, and Colin, you could probably back me up on this, is you get a sequel to a game, right?
Yes.
What are your expectations for that sequel to be? There's two possible factors to it.
There's one, continuing the story in a good, believable way, and 2 would be improving the gameplay, or just adding on to the gameplay.
You're absolutely right. Those are the 2 things. Those are your expectations. Now, since Devil May Cry came out, Devil May Cry 5, good example of being ambitious, but it didn't work out, was Devil May Cry 1 to Devil May Cry 2. Okay?
Yes.
It wanted to improve the gameplay and continue the story. It did those things. However, the execution was real bad. So what did they do in the 3rd game? They went back to what worked in the first one and improved the gameplay there, didn't try anything new. Zelda 1 to 2. Same concept, right? What did they do in 3, which is technically, I guess, Link to the Past, right? Went back to the original formula and improved the gameplay and continued the story, quote unquote, continued the story, obviously. Bad example is what we're getting a lot today. What did we get in Mass Effect Andromeda, right? Not improved gameplay, not improved story. Very bare bones and basic. What are we getting in Dead or Alive 6 from 5? Nothing's improved. DLC. What are we getting in Trials Rising compared to Trials Fusion? Or even Blood Dragon? It's not...
Microtransactions and loot boxes, like you said.
Right. There's no... It's not meeting the expectations that sequels are expected to have. So
yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I feel like one exception is Kingdom Hearts 3, despite my gripes on the ending.
Right.
Well, the gameplay was improved.
Yeah.
The gameplay was improved. Maybe not to the extent we wanted, but it was definitely better than 1 and 2.
1 and 2's like gameplay always felt really loose and janky to me.
Well, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They definitely fixed that 2 generations later.
Gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Yeah, but it still felt pretty easy.
It was much easier than it ever has been, for sure. So there is praise for that. Now, improving or continuing the story, well, it definitely continued the story.
Yeah, I think
in a way it met that.
I think to sum up my feelings on like the story and the ending, I normally feel a nice warm fuzzy feeling at the end of every game, but 3 is the first one to leave me feeling cold.
Ooh. That's not what you want to hear.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah. And this is coming from a hardcore fan.
Yeah, we know. So,
but maybe once the story is continued in a future game, I might get to change my mind, because then I know things will be okay from there on out for a fact. But I have to wait until after Final Fantasy VII Remastered is finished before that happens.
Well,
in 2069.
Not a remaster, it's a remake. They have to do that from the ground up. But yeah, maybe in 2025. All right.
Well, there's still
those games
tied me over till then.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So those games
boys. Yeah, we got a theme to go through. So again, playing a drop, maybe a commercial, who knows? Get this going. Alrighty, nice quick drop. Boom, baby. The 90s are upon us, boys.
Yep, yeah. they're right around the corner.
Where's all the rap artists with the sideways caps?
Oh, we have a game with that. Sort of. So, what are your stereotypes that you correlate with the 90s?
Nickelodeon.
Okay.
Slime.
Nickelodeon slime.
All that. TV shows that were questionably appropriate.
Kind of like that.
What else? I'm trying to think.
I thought a lot of burping, fart jokes.
Rollerblades,
poop, being gross.
Dumb slang.
Real new dumb. Everything's cool, rad.
Whack.
Whack. Parachute pants. Bright colors of green and purples.
Not a
Disney 2D animated movies.
Windbreakers.
Windbreakers, leather jackets. Well, leather jackets were kind of carryover from the 80s. What else? Anything else that comes to mind? The
Batman cartoon. Sailor Moon.
Well, I mean, yeah, Japanese 90s, sure. But yeah, our theme is 90. These games are 90s as fuck. Like, if you put this game on, you think, yeah, it came out in the 90s, and these are the 6 games we came up with. So I'll go first. I thought with the remaster / sequel / new ToeJam and Earl game that just came out, and the fact that we covered already the first one, like, well, let's pick the second one. So my first pick here is ToeJam and Earl 2: Panic on Funkotron.
Yeah,
came out. You got a hot take?
Sorry. I got a hot take.
Okay, well, hold that thought. Once I get through the little thing. Came out on the Sega Genesis in 1993. Runs for about $18 these days. Developed by Johnson Voorsanger Productions, who later changed their own company name to ToeJam and Earl Productions. Published by Sega. It's a 2D side-scroller kind of walkabout where you collect treasure item things. And you capture humans, because those dick humans hitched a ride on your ship, and from the first game, and now they're going to basically turn Funkotron into a tourist trap of like strip malls and all that nonsense. Use those items you collect to capture the humans in funky ways, and I use that word on purpose, naturally. So, all right, what's your hot take, Kevin?
I like this game better than the first one.
Oh yeah.
That is a very unpopular. Yeah, people hate this game.
Really?
Like, it's generally regarded as the And honestly, I just don't see it.
Interesting.
I feel like it's more to the point. I feel like the goal is clearer. Because the first game, I didn't know what I was doing when I turned it on. You had to really read the instruction manual and like understand what I was doing. I was like, I'm getting presents, I guess.
Yeah, kinda. But you're actually collecting parts to your ship.
But like that wasn't clear to me.
No, you're right. It wasn't. We made that clear when we covered the first one for sure.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know. I knew like, okay, this one, get to the end of the line, stop humans, wrap a little bit, end. You know.
Colin, what'd you think? Do you agree with Kevin? Do you agree with the Kevin who's totally not a D-pad?
Did you call me a D-pad? What does that mean?
I didn't call you a D-pad. I said totally not.
I just don't know what that means. Is all. You're a D-pad.
Oh, I hope not.
Goddamn analog stick.
Analog stick. That's a good one. That's right. Photosynthesis D-pad analog stick. No, your joystick. That's what it was. It wasn't an analog stick.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I like bringing people joy with my stick.
How dare you besmirch my insult?
Anyways, Colin, do you agree with Kevin?
Not necessarily. I mean, I like this game enough. I still like the first one more just for the 90s nostalgia. But in this one, I can see why one would consider it better, because there's more variation to the gameplay this time around. Mm-hmm. You can actually throw stuff. You're capturing humans. You're searching bushes and trees. You can go to bonus levels and such. Yeah, I can see where the more appeal would be there. And plus the animation and art style are more detailed this time around.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But in exchange, there's really not much variety to the Earthlings. I mean, in the first game, there were lots of different enemies and characters to come across. Although
that's true.
The environments were very plain looking. But this time, the environments are more details, but the enemies have less variety.
Okay. I agree with Kevin.
What?
Yeah. I like Panic on Funkotron more than the first one. I'm with you. I second everything you said. I think it is more clear. I think it's more user-friendly.
Yeah.
I think it's much more colorful and better to look at. Easier to play. Your goal is clear. Oodles of funkiness is what I wrote in my notes here.
That was a phrase I never thought I'd hear, but okay.
Did you guys know there was a third one?
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to play it, and I think it's more like the first one, if I remember.
Well, apparently it sold like shit so bad on the Xbox that it closed the studio down.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that was the one with that weird hip-hop girl on it.
Oh, I think so, yeah. I had to look it up.
It's expensive now, I think.
I bet it is, because it's a piece of crap.
That's normally how the expensive games are.
Yeah, the expensive ones are always like the worst ones. Like, why do you want that?
There's a couple exceptions.
Yeah, I really liked it. I really liked this game. It was a chill experience. It wasn't as frustratingly unclear like the original game. But I'm with you, Colin, when you're talking about variety of the enemies. I think that's what definitely sets these two games apart from each other.
Yeah.
At least from a gameplay perspective. So.
Yeah, definitely. Because really, with these enemies, all you've got are these people running around, occasionally throwing stuff at you, and some of them have cameras that paralyze you with the flash, but that's really as far as it goes.
As in real life.
Yeah, your soul is stolen. That is a fact. Science proved it.
I played Fatal Frame once.
So did we.
Yeah, for sure. I passed this game. I do.
Yeah, I liked it.
I might have liked this one a little more if I'd had more time and energy to spend with it, but like I said, these past couple of weeks have been a real blur for me.
How dare you?
So I'll give it a pass, but I might not go back to it. Might just take another run at the first game for my fix of 90s nostalgia. But
for anyone that wants to play it,
yeah, I might check that out once I'm back.
I saw the gameplay of the new one, and I'm not saying it's bad because I haven't played it, but it just looks weird. Like loose. It looks like the art style doesn't look like it's done. I don't know how to describe it. Like everything is kind of loose and floaty, and I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I got to play it the other day too.
It's I don't know. I mean, the gameplay is probably just like the first one from what it looks like.
It's exactly like the first one. You would almost assume that it's a remaster of the first one.
Yeah, the art just looks real weird, and for some reason they decided to make sure you saw Earl's butt crack in the shorts, geez. Which was weird too. I was like, that's somebody was assigned to do that. I do. When you're
Earl in the second one here, I do like how he shakes his hips real hard when he's shaking the tree back and forth. Yeah, he does. Yeah,
good game. Played as ToeJam.
ToeJam I found kind of hard to play because he was just so much quicker.
Oh yeah,
and you had to be careful going around the levels because those fucking humans getting in your way all the time. Dicks.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
All
right. My second pick was a game titled Cool Spot,
which I swear we've talked about before.
We have not. We might have mentioned it, but we didn't cover
according to your notes.
Yeah, well, I have all the games listed in the last little document, so we have not covered this game. Came out on the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, the Game Boy, and the Game Gear. Runs for about $10. Developed and published by Virgin Games, which we're tending to cover more games from Virgin than I thought we'd ever do. They've made more games than I thought they did. That's for sure.
Virgin is 90s as fuck, you could say.
Well, you might say that. It was originally released in 93. The handhelds I mentioned just earlier, they came out a year later, so they were ports. Again, it runs for about $10. It's not expensive. It is a basic platformer. You are basically the 7-Up red spot that's on, all the soda cans and what have you.
Which I didn't understand was a mascot before, by the way.
So technically, Spot is only a mascot in this game little universe. It's not actually the mascot for 7-Up.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, before Cool Spot, I was like, the 7-Up has a mascot?
So if you look up Fido Dido, F-I-D-O-D-I-D-O.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
Okay. The name you might not have heard of, but if you Google the character and look up what he looks like, he was the main mascot during the 90s, and still to this day. He's kind of like a character out of Doug kind of deal.
Oh, yeah.
Has the skateboard type character, the baggy pants and everything. He's got the spaghetti hair.
Okay.
Because I didn't recognize the name either, but I recognized the
I remember.
Look. Yeah, I knew it. You're like, oh yeah, I've seen this guy.
I just didn't know he had a name.
Yeah, that's his name, Fido Dido, or Fido Dido, something like that. So,
still, it's a weird world we live in when a small portion of a soft drink logo gets its own video game.
This was the 90s, and there were a lot of licensed games like this. I remember the Domino's one, the Noid, the NES.
Yeah, I didn't play that one.
Oh, I played that. Anyways, we're talking about Cool Spot. So you're this little spot with arms and legs, and you run around just your basic levels. You collect various red spots around the level. You just platform around until you get your spot percentage or your cool percentage. I think it says cool spot percentage on there, up to a certain amount, and that's how you. And then you can go to the end of the level at the usually located at the right hand side, as far right as you can go, and you just move on to the next one, and that's the whole game, really. What did everyone think?
Yeah, I kind of like this one. I mean, it was it was honestly surprising how solid it ended up being. I mean, it's kind of generic as platformers go, but it does enough right that I enjoyed playing it. Of course, right off the bat, this game has the same problem with the camera that Cold Shadow had, in that when you change direction, the camera jolts right to the other side.
Yeah, I really hate that about older games. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, it just has the potential to make the player motion sick. And I also noticed Cool Spot himself walks kind of slow. I mean, it's almost faster to just jump everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
But I do like that you can fire because you throw bubbles as your main attack.
Yeah, the soda bubbles.
Yeah.
I did like that attack. That was super fun.
Yeah, and I like that you can throw it in 8 directions as opposed to just 4, which is very handy. Yeah, and I also like that when you die, you can still keep all the spots you've collected up to that point, which makes it way less frustrating.
Also true.
Yeah, but it is kind of funny how when you knock the shell off a hermit crab, you see him in boxer shorts.
Yeah, there's some of your 90s humor there. Make the character naked kind of deal.
Yeah.
Make him naked by adding clothes to them.
And plus, I'm kind of a sucker for, because this game takes place on like a Florida beach type setting, and I'm always kind of a sucker for that kind of.
Well, it takes place in a bunch of places. Like, that's the one spot I knew they were gonna do even before like the first time I played this game, because it was like soda, beach, 90s, got it. But like then it was like generic platforming levels of like, woodshop, science level. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do? It's like fucking Cool Spot.
Yeah. Then you kind of get in like an attic character, and there's rats, and you're like, oh, okay.
Pirate ship, because soda's scurvy. Got it?
Oh yeah. You need your lemon and lime.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't quite play that far.
Oh.
You didn't really need to. You weren't missing anything.
Yeah. The thing is, like, Cool Spot's a good game, but that's the thing. It's just like it does cool, platforming stuff pretty well. That's it.
The way I describe games like this is kind of like Arrow the Acrobat. We covered that on the cast before. The game's harmless. There's nothing inherently wrong about it, but it's I've been using this this analogy lately. I'm pretty sure I heard this from a comedian like decades ago, but this game is like a Honda Civic. It's reliable, but not inspiring.
Right. That's the thing. It's one of those games when I like every time I got my cartridge collection up, I'm always like, I gotta have Cool Spot. Why? I just fucking do. I like it.
He's got some sick sunglasses on.
He does.
Yeah.
Spot's got a weird history. The next game was kind of weird, and then also the Game Boy game of this was weird.
There was 4 games.
Well, there's
Cool Spot games. Yeah, there's 3 sequels to this.
Well, there was Spot, which was just Othello on NES. Then there was the Cool Spot. And then I think the Game Boy Cool Spot is literally... It's not Cool Spot.
Oh. Weird.
It's McKids. Yeah, they just reskinned it. It's fucking weird.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And then Spot Goes to Hollywood is like some weird isometric platform.
I have heard of that one. That one was apparently atrocious. We might have to play it.
Let's not. And so we did. How's that?
I'm very curious about it now.
Yeah. So yeah, Spot's good. It really is harmless. It's like the pretty much okay platformer of the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's all right.
Yeah, it's just okay.
This was way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
I just found it so bland. It was bland 90s AF.
Did you figure out the bonus levels? Did you ever get to one? Better question.
Yeah, those were cool because you get into a bonus level, and what it is you're in a giant 7-Up bottle, and you use the carbonation bubbles to jump up to higher levels, and you collect all the spots in there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think the bonus level is my favorite level in the game that I got to play. So, cool spot, boys and girls.
Cool Spot's cool, man.
Now the main question is: did you find yourself wanting a 7-Up upon playing this?
No, because that's the last lemon lime soda I go for.
Are you a Sierra Mist fellow?
Okay, Sierra Mist might actually be the last one. Let me take that back because I forgot that existed.
All right, that answers that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of a Sprite guy.
Me too.
I prefer RC Lemon Lime. Is that a thing?
I prefer the local grocery store's lemon and lime drink. Alrighty, so I guess I pass it. You know, I'm not thrilled about it, but I'll pass it. It was harmless.
Game exists.
It exists. That's a good way to put it. All right, Colin.
Yeah, I just give it barely a pass. It's playable, but I probably won't go back to it.
Nah, so either. Colin, your 2 picks.
Alrighty. First is Skate or Die on the NES.
Die, 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 die.
Skate or die. Die, die, die,
Die,
die,
die, die, die, die.
I think that's the most thing we're gonna take from that stupid game.
It's the only thing I cared about that game.
I'm sorry, Colin, you were gonna tell us about Skate or Die?
Yeah. All right, it was developed by Electronic Arts and Konami. That is to say, Konami did the NES version and Electronic Arts did the PC version. And it was published by Electronic Arts and Ultra Games. Released in 1988 on various computer systems, including Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, MS-DOS, and later in the year on NES. And I think I goofed picking this one. It was supposed to be 90s games, but this came out in the 80s. Oops.
Look, you got the message across, trust me.
It was very 90s, don't worry.
Though it is the late 80s, so that's practically the 90s.
The sequel was like the same game, and it came out in 1990, so whatever.
Yeah.
We'll forgive you.
Skate or Die 2 right now.
Anyway, I picked this one for 2 reasons. One, when I was visiting my family out in Alberta over 25 years ago. Holy shit, I'm old. One of my aunts had the sister game Ski or Die, which I remember to this day.
That exists.
I still remember the snowball fight minigame and how sometimes an opponent would pop up right in front of you, get hit him in the face, and then he'd just see his eyes poking cartoonishly through the snow. That always made me laugh. And the second reason is my brother was really into skateboarding from high school to his mid to late 20s. He even made a few skateboard videos with his friends.
Skateboarding, rollerblading, those were everything of the 90s. No doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Why are the only options skating or dying?
Well, Kevin, in the long past, in the long ago, when you were on the boardwalk in California.
Oh, I was. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. We were there.
We were all there.
We were all there. We had our sick rollerblades, leather jacket, pants too big. The police officer chasing us from behind because get off the pier, kids! Ah!
You're also carrying a boombox.
Absolutely, boombox with the CD player attachment.
As I was skateboarding,
as you were skateblading.
Skateblading, wow! I do remember those days.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot negative to say about this game, but I will start with one positive thing.
Ooh.
It's on the menu screen. You can move a cursor around, and the Mohawk guy on the screen will say different things depending on what you're pointing at. And you can even point onto his mouth, and he'll say, "Do your folks know what you're doing?"
I did not know
weird. That.
That certainly means something.
Yeah, really.
Oh boy. I didn't want this game. Oh
yeah,
I'm pretty sure this game like set the standard for a lot of the Tony Hawk games that came later in the 90s.
Yeah, those are definitely much better than this. I only played this one for about half an hour. There's really not much to it. The controls aren't very good. They're sluggish at best, and at worst, they're unintuitive and unresponsive. I mean, I tried practice mode on the high jump section, and even with an instruction manual, I couldn't figure out how to do an actual jump for the life of me. Hit all the buttons and directions, but couldn't get the character to do anything. and the pool jousting thing where you're like going on a half pipe in a pool.
The pool jousting was atrociously frustrating, and it's broken.
Yeah. The perspective is completely off, and you can't tell where your character is relative to your opponent. Can't land hits for the life of you, even on the easiest difficulty. The only minigame I could do anything with was the downhill time attack, and even then, turning is very sluggish and accelerating is pretty over-responsive.
Yeah, that one in particular was probably the most fun, but even then it was awful still, because anytime you want to turn, you basically your character has to come to almost a complete stop, and then you can move along. Not to mention that there's another dude on the course with you trying to fuck you at all times.
Yeah, and you have to hammer on the D-pad to get your guy to do anything.
Kevin.
Hello.
Did you skate or die?
I died.
Died. Yeah, we all died a little bit inside.
Fucking hate this game. It's really bad.
I tried out every mode about twice, and then I go,
why?
Because I was like, the first time, maybe I just don't get it. The second time, no, I definitely get it. It's just bad.
Yeah.
The only good thing about this game, actually, I remember testing it when the game store I was working at. I was like, wow, the sound in this game is actually really good, and then nothing else.
There's a reason why this game's like $5.
Yeah, it's just, this game is not that great.
Makes me wish I'd chosen California Games instead.
No.
That's not better. How is that better?
Why would you do that? California Games doesn't even have the intro theme.
Because I played it on the Commodore growing up. That's why.
That's not good.
So my notes
well,
I wrote...
my 5-year-old mind didn't know that.
My notes I wrote simply, it's an 8-bit X Games that sucks ass.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Yeah. All right. I fail this. It's easy. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's do anything else. Let's play on any game that could be better. This is not a segue for thing.
What do you got for us, Colin? What's your second pick?
Yeah. What was the great second game you picked?
Home Improvement. Power to
What the fuck, Colin?
Nintendo.
What did I just say?
You're supposed to go.
What? No. What did I just ask you to do?
Colin, you've really upset Kevin here. You're gonna have to apologize for him. You might have to improve his home.
No.
My work here is done.
I'd like to announce my resignation from the podcast.
Your resignation?
It's been a great time.
You gotta start your car?
Yes. I said not reignition, you fucking idiot.
Oh boy.
What is this fucking game, Colin? Please tell us. Inform the audience.
Okay, this was...
For once, I didn't have the 2 worst picks.
Yeah. So it was developed by Imagineering and published by Absolute Entertainment. And released on November 1994 on the Super Nintendo. And there was apparently going to be a Genesis version, but it got canceled. Can't imagine why. Yeah, I picked this one because my family loved watching the actual show growing up, or my dad did at least, since he's the handyman of the family. It
was definitely one of the more popular shows. It ran essentially the entire decade. I think it started in 91, ended in 99. I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very 90s, for sure. Everything about it was 90s, the whole show, even the humor.
Yeah, I liked bits and pieces of the show, like the whole man's kitchen segment or the man's bathroom on the Tool Time show in the show. Mm-hmm. The rest I didn't really care much about.
So, what kind of game did we get?
Yeah,
we got a very shitty Bionic Commando / Contra clone.
Ah, that's what it reminded you of. Okay.
Contra? Yeah, how dare you?
No, there's another game on this list that reminds us of Contra.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Just the fact that you can fire in 8 directions that makes it like Contra.
Okay.
But there's way less accuracy. Fun fact, This game did not come with an actual instruction manual. Instead, it was a fake manual that when you open it, there's a sticker on the inside that reads, "Real men don't need instructions." A game after my own heart.
Nice and meta about itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe. You know what? I've seen the instruction booklet, and there's clearly something started under there, and I want to only imagine not even paid, just made some poor intern type this and then go, wow, that's really descriptive, and fuck you.
And we're letting you go.
Yeah. Get me coffee, kid.
Put some big batteries on that for horsepower. I'm getting you coffee.
I know what the fuck I said.
You know what I said. Put some batteries in my coffee. This one reminded me of a lame Pitfall game, just with power tools.
Oh, yeah?
Because home improvement.
Pitfall.
Right?
Pitfall. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pitfall. You played Pitfall, right?
I've played Pitfall. I'm just like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. I played Pitfall.
I once video gamed. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of these platforms that are like the level is kind of a mishmash and figuring out where the fuck to go is the whole point.
It was a lot. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Pitfall and I think Flashback kind of started with it, but they actually had rhyme and reason to going about the levels. This one didn't have that.
No, and the thing is, like, the premise of it is just weird. It's like, oh, the tools are on a different set, and all these sets are apparently trying to kill us for reasons.
Yeah, you're on you're on film sets, yeah.
Which, real dinosaurs are in for.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions,
it's got
shut
a
up.
neat idea of the gimmick behind it all. It just wasn't
I get it.
executed at all. Like, there was no execution behind it. It was just, it felt slapped together.
Right.
Yeah, it was borrowing all kinds of different mechanics from different games and not delivering very well on any of them.
Yeah, and I understand you need something to do to make a platformer about the show, but also maybe just fucking don't.
Yeah. It's a cash grab.
It's the definition.
Definitely. I mean, my comparison to Bionic Commando comes from the fact that you have a grappling hook that you can swing across gaps with or pull yourself up onto platforms above you, but it's not executed nearly as well as Bionic Commando.
Yeah. I thought the tool upgrades, speaking of the grappling hook, were pretty neat, at least, like the chainsaw and the flamethrower. But yeah. I agree. The control execution was very frustrating. It just doesn't work. There
were a lot of leap of faith that I fucking hated in this game too, which is like one of the biggest things I hate in platformers.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even Lion King and Jungle Book had leaps of faith.
Yeah, because it's just bad. Like.
And couple that with how slippery the level traversal can be.
Everything. The camera like was snapping back and forth thing. We seem to have a lot of issues with
we definitely got a theme within the theme here.
Yeah. And it's also borrowing from Sonic the Hedgehog in that your health is tied to the nuts and bolts you collect. You get hit, you lose all of them with them flying in all directions, so you can collect some of them after to get some health back.
So as long as you have one nut bolt thing, whatever.
Yeah.
You always got to keep one nut.
You always got to keep one nut.
You just gotta have that in your back pocket and like, oh, oh, there goes my nut.
I can only imagine that's the sound the Toolman Taylor makes when making sweet love to his, what was his wife's name?
I don't remember.
Jolene. There we go.
Did either of you find yourself getting stuck on level 1 because of that stupid dinosaur?
Yes.
I didn't. Fuck this game.
It's just.
I played like an hour of this game and I said, I'm never getting this hour back. I need to do anything else.
Yeah, I think the most like disappointing realization is you go, oh, I beat the level. Okay, now I'll go to a new set. No, it's just the same set again. Just the same theme of the set. Like, from a level creation perspective, I guess. Like, yeah, we play a lot of games. You know, you're not just going to play one volcano level, right? You're going to play 3 variations of the volcano level. But you're on level 1 for so fucking long that you get so sick of being on that set, and the variation you knew wasn't going to change, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, oh.
Did anyone get to any kind of boss fight?
Nope.
No.
Okay. All right, great. So there's no bosses. Got it.
Yeah, I don't think there is. Now that you mention it.
I'm just gonna believe that there isn't, because who would do that? Who would make a boss in this game? What would the boss be? Pam Anderson's tits? Who knows?
I was actually really confused on what you're supposed to do at the levels, because I went through that whole opening sequence, which was really long. And yeah, it says, oh, your tools are missing, go find them on the sets, whatever. Like, okay, I gotta go find the tools. So I thought those were the upgrades. Like, oh, I found the chainsaw, so I can get past this other section of the level, you know, aka like the dinosaur. Now I have a powerful enough tool to defeat it. Makes sense in my head. But you're actually... It took me a long time to realize I'm actually finding crates spread across the level.
Yeah.
Not the tools that the game tells you to find.
Yeah, that took me a while too.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I will say it does have some good graphics. Like the environments are detailed and the so are the sprites.
Yes.
But that doesn't really save the game.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is pretty bland. I mean, I got sick of the first level's music pretty quickly.
Yeah. You know how much this game goes for?
Way too much.
$42 minimum.
Oh my god.
Why?
What the fuck, Colin?
Hey, you wanted 90s, I gave you 90s.
Yeah, I definitely got it.
Didn't know what I was asking for. Not like this.
Well
then be more careful next time.
Yeah. Needless to say, I'm failing Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Home Improvement failed itself.
I think the best thing we got out of it was the Game Grumps playthrough.
I'll have to go watch that.
I didn't realize they did that to themselves.
They do a lot of things to themselves over there.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. 2 out of 10.
Speaking of like horrible games, I just recently rewatched the entire Markiplier Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy playthrough.
Oh, yeah?
So funny. Just the levels of rage he reaches. It's very entertaining. And he did it to himself, too. Yeah. Alright. Kevin, you have 2 picks now. Our last 2 picks of the podcast. What'd you do first?
Fucking yeah. Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure, which is on Genesis and Super Nintendo. Obviously, I see you put the prices here. Fucking Nintendo tax, am I right?
Pretty much.
Made by Interplay. It's an Earthworm Jim-like game where the level layout is... What the hell did you write? Where the level layout of control scheme is quite similar.
The level layouts and the control scheme are similar to Earthworm Jim, yeah.
The thing I see that. Okay. You attack enemies by flicking boogers, farting at them, burping at them. A lot of colorful sprites, especially if you like the color green. And your health bar is tied to your character's cape. Yeah. That is my favorite color too. We share some commonalities. Your health bar is tied to your... Let me fart on you, girl. Your health bar is tied to your character's cape.
Oh my god.
90s.
Spit up my water with that.
It's the 90s. That's what people are into, I thought. Anyway, I actually had no idea that your health to your character's cape at first. It took me a while to get into that. It's not the best platformer, but it's 90s, all right.
Sure is.
I don't know. I thought the game was kind of unique. Like, you're a janitor. I'm gonna save the world because I know basic maintenance. And you're kind of traveling in these underground areas? I don't even know what that was.
I mean, they were wacky little worlds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there was like sewer, anything gross related, sewers and whatnot.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, this game. It kind of just went with like boogers. That's the theme. Anyone got anything else? That's good enough. Fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah. Boogers, farting,
burping. Also burping and farting and hawking movies.
you know, things that janitors don't want to deal with. But this guy was like, no, this is my arsenal.
You can also flush yourself down toilets.
You can, which gets you to some bonus levels, which, if I remember right, one bonus level sent me back to the beginning of...
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I just didn't write that down. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, the use of bonus areas in this game was kind of questionable. It did like the Bubsy thing where like, well, you just failed at this bonus level. I say it'd be a shame if you went all the way back.
The Bubsy thing, yeah.
Minus that, honestly, I think this game's pretty okay. It just didn't have the highest budget, clearly.
No,
but it was fun. There were some sound sprites that were even good on the Genesis, which I found impressive.
I did play both versions of myself, and before I say anything, we did get a new follower on Mixer, Gross Beast 2686. That's very fitting to the podcast theme today.
I wish it was the Booger Man.
The Booger Man, the Gross Beast.
Are you the Booger Man, sir? The game was okay. I'm not. I like playing it, but like it's more of a novelty of wow, this is unique and gross. You know, it's not a game I'm dying to beat the ending of, but I'll turn it on, pop it on for a little bit. But it's kind of a one-trick pony of, yep, that's boogers.
I didn't find the game incredibly difficult, really. I did get to play both versions, and I thought the music on the Genesis version was much better. It just kind of fit better. It's kind of the Earthworm Jim effect. You just feel the music and the tones and how the Genesis puts it out. Just fits the tone of just this goofy, quirky little grossness of a game kind of deal.
Yeah.
I really liked the sprites and the sprite animations in the game. They were very detailed. Everything ranging from him climbing to his standstill animation where he'd like stand there, pick his nose, and then put it in his mouth. You're like, ew. To holding a power attack, whether it's farting or burping, and his stomach grows and grows and grows until he finally lets one out.
If you don't, of course, expounds.
Yeah, and if you don't let it out enough, it's just words that come across burp.
See, this is how to show off what the Genesis is capable of, Sega.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure Sonic did that, but all right.
No.
Just how detailed the animations were and such.
All right, okay.
No, Booger Man is the epitome of Genesis. Thank you very much.
It's got attitude.
It sure does.
It though? I think it's just got hygiene problems. It's not really attitude
problems. Yeah, you did see like in the sewer levels, you saw the sewer caps having lips and tongues out with the green slime coming. Yeah, you're right, Kevin. There was a lot of green in this game.
Yeah. They were like, hey, you know what color boogers are? Green.
They're green. It came out in '94, so it was later in it was at the end of the Genesis lifespan, especially the Super Nintendo lifespan. So maybe that's why it's more expensive. The Super Nintendo was on its way out.
It's fucking Nintendo tax. Don't lie to me.
Well, no, that's what happened. That's what happened with a lot of games. Like if they come out in the last year of the console, or the new one comes out, those copies are few and far between because they only have that one initial year come out or less.
It had a couple years because '96 was N64.
Yeah, and this came out in '95, the SNES version.
Oh, I think you said '94. Sorry.
Well, the Genesis version came out in '94.
Got it. Yeah, so, I don't know. Something about the Genesis makes it seem more for this game, could being more
absolutely
adulty. I don't really feel like this game fits on Super Nintendo as well.
Yeah, like if I look at my library of games in front of me and I put the Genesis ones side by side to the Super Nintendo, definitely Booger Man would gravitate towards the Genesis for sure with the attitude the console had. I didn't really have much problem with this game. Yeah, I thought the whole grossness factor in it trying to be, comical about it all was just in your face too much.
But that's all I had.
That's really the only negative. I really liked how your hit and health was tied to the cape, and it would change color.
Yeah,
I really like that. It's just a nice little touch, rather than just a percentage or meter or something.
Yeah,
that's a Mario trick. You know, it gets smaller. Just simple visual things.
Now the meter in the top left, I believe there was like a strand of booger.
Yeah,
I thought that was your life.
Yeah, I thought so for a while too.
Yeah, so I don't really know what that does still.
I think that's like your ammo meter for how many boogers you can flick.
Oh, see, I was more worried that like every time I did that, I was taking away from my health.
So what, you were stopping burping all the time?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, pulling your pants down, farting.
Yeah, so.
Well, the Genesis version runs for about $18. The Super Nintendo version runs for $48 generally. So,
yeah.
I think the choice is clear. I'm gonna pass Boogerman a pick and flick adventure.
Yeah, I gave it a pass too. Not really much to complain about, though platforming can be a little slippery at times, and the overly heroic voice of Boogerman himself can be a little obnoxiously loud.
I would like to compare this to a Honda Civic, but with a lot of garbage in it.
What?
It's reliable.
You just didn't clean your car
special.
Out?
Yeah, it's just kind of gross.
We're really harping on those Honda Civic analogies today.
The Red Leaf Retrocast sponsored by Honda Civic.
That would be something.
As featured Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, what's the last game we're covering here?
Fucking dinosaurs for I can't
Dinosaurs?
speak. Dinosaurs for fire. Dinosaurs for Hire for the Genesis. It is a game based on the late 80s and 90s comic book, and it is a pick 3 between 3 dinosaurs, and it's pretty much Contra with dinosaurs. It's you wrote dull and boring. I disagree. Game's cool as hell. This game's fucking awesome, man. I don't know what you're wrong with you. Fucking Contra with dinosaurs. What's wrong with that? Why do you hate fun?
Well, it's it's another Sega game published. Malibu Interactive came out in '93, late '93, to coincide with the comic book series because it was rebooted in the early '90s.
So why do you hate fun?
So I don't hate the game. I just found it pretty standard, and it was just taking a lot from the Contra formula, where you just get regular guns. You even have a spread shot, was directly from Contra. Even the boss battles were seemingly directly from Contra, but those were cool because they were taking up the whole screen. They were very interesting. I played a few of them actually. I played through a few bosses, so I did give this game a real good try. Just the trek along the levels were just so uninteresting to me. Just so standard. It was just, oh, you're in a city, so you jump on this, jump on this, jump on this.
Motherfucking dinosaur.
There was no enemy variation either.
It's Contra.
But Contra was more side-scrolling action rather than this open level design that we seem to be again, just like all the other games. It's an open level design, and if the level itself is just bland, then you just get bored doing it. Then that's what I felt playing this.
I disagree. I think this game's fucking lit.
Just wasn't a lot of attitude or variation other than dinosaurs wearing leather jackets.
That's the most attitude you can get.
But it's just the sprite. It wasn't. You know, they had no idle animation. There was no interaction with anything. Your enemies just flew off the screen. I mean, if this came out, 5 years prior, yeah, it would probably be a lot better. I think this was half effort for the time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Game's cool, man.
It has a funky little idea. It has a rad idea, but it just didn't.
Good co-op game too.
I didn't get to play it co-op, but hey, that's more Contra.
Yeah, honestly, I think this game shines in.
It just made me want to play Contra.
Okay, but Contra doesn't have dinosaurs.
Contra does not have dinosaurs. You're absolutely right. It has aliens though. Yeah.
Does it have melee attacks?
It has all the melee attacks.
You've been quiet at this game. What
I mean, does Contra have melee attacks?
Oh, fuck no, it doesn't.
I think the later
and that's where this game separates itself.
Contra is clearly inferior.
Oh boy. Yeah, I like this game. I mean, not only do they have leather jackets, they also have sunglasses. Let's not forget that.
Gotta have the sunglasses. It is the 90s.
Oh my god, this game is so cool. How do you not see this?
Yeah, the other 90s thing is that you get your health back by eating fast food.
As you should.
That is very nice. You're right.
Yeah, so what I wrote down was that already on the first level, I liked the game. Basically Contra with a little bit of Double Dragon environment-wise. And I think it works well. I mean, like we just talked about, I'm really glad there's a melee attack because some enemies get so close you just can't shoot them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with some of the gun attacks. Yeah, that's pretty frustrating at first.
And the character sprite is pretty big, and most of the enemies are a lot smaller. Although I guess that makes it a little more realistic because dinosaurs are huge and humans are...
Yeah, because you're a motherfucking dinosaur.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. The environments are kind of standard, but I like them. I mean, they're detailed and pleasing to the eye, and they don't look plain. But I think... Subway Part B is where the difficulty really ramps up with this game because you got all these tiny gun turrets shooting from every different direction. It's really hard to shoot them accurately. Plus, it's a little hard to avoid all the bullets when your sprite is so big. But
I don't feel like those bullets should have done as much damage. Like they should have been like minor annoyances. They were kind of a menace. Like
you think the health should have been much more lenient, like in what's the game I'm thinking of? Rampage, for example, where your other giant...
Yeah, because you're a giant monster.
Giant kaijus.
Dinosaurs have thick, leathery skin, allegedly. So, like, why am I dying from a bullet here? Stop it. So...
One big annoyance I had was with how finicky the game was with jumping off of the ladders. It seemed to only do it properly when it wanted to.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, there was a lot of quirky little bugs I came across in this. I fell through platforms more often than I would have liked. For example, the ladder thing definitely came up a lot. Hit detection was odd. That's why I kind of had an issue with the melee, but I'm glad it was there rather than not there. That's a positive at least, mixed in with a negative. What'd you guys think of the boss fights? Because that was my favorite thing about the game, for sure. And it was not even close.
I did not get that far.
Aw. Dude, they take up the whole screen. You fight like a giant turtle.
Well, I do not have unlimited time. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's like the first level and it's there.
Get unlimited time. It's a cheat code.
I would if I could.
What if I could?
I kind of wish... Oh.
What's
I was
the
going to say... pass.
Pass? Kevin?
I absolutely pass it. Did I had to say it?
I mean, yeah. Just for the sake. Yeah.
Pass as fuck, then.
Okay. Did you have one more thing you wanted to say?
Just that I kind of wish there was more variety to the music. I mean, on the levels I played, I only heard one single track.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the game lacked variety. I'm going to pass it, but reluctantly. I do see a lot of merit in it, and it's definitely got at least attitude in the characters. Because you're a fucking Stegosaurus with a Gatling gun at one point, but...
Or a Tyrannosaurus.
Or a T-Rex, yeah. Again, it's just my personal opinion. I just found it kind of boring. If you're going to rip off Contra, then at least do it better, which they didn't. Anyways. Okay, so our 6 games we covered from top to bottom. ToeJam and Earl 2, Panic on Funkotron, Cool Spot, 7-Up, Skate or Die, Die. Home Improvement, Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure, and Dinosaurs for Hire. Colin, favorite and least favorite?
I think favorite is Boogerman. Just because it was the most solid, it was the most fun, it had the best visuals and animations. Sure, it has a whole lot of immature, gross-out humor, and I'm not normally a fan of it, but here I didn't mind it so much. It could be kind of fun. So yeah, that's my number 1 of the cast. And as for least favorite, Skate or Die. Although Home Improvement's a close second. I mean, Home Improvement was at least bad in an interesting way. Skate or Die was just boring.
You'd get a flamethrower in Home Improvement at least.
Yeah.
Kevin, favorite and least favorite?
Yeah. Favorite Dinosaurs for Hire. It's the most unique. That's mostly why.
Not unique. It's like Contra.
It's fucking unique. It's got dinosaurs, motherfucker. I still say it's my favorite, whether or not you like it. And sorry, that's fun. My least favorite, Colin is my least favorite. Both of his games.
I don't pick a game. I pick you.
You're
breaking my heart, man.
I'd probably go with Skate or Die, honestly. Home Improvement, while shitty, I don't know, Skate or Die, I just did not love at all.
All right. We did get a new Twitch follower, by the way, Ordelion. Thank you for the follow.
What up, nerd?
My favorite would be Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure.
Yay.
And least favorite, Skate or Die, for all the reasons Colin said. I second. So, fun stuff. If you want to join a community we have partnered up with, then head on over to a Retro Twitch to join their Discord. It's a retro gaming community. Highly recommend. Lots of good people there. Lots of good streamers, retro streamers. Easy to get into via going to their Twitter, twitter.com/RetroTwitchCom, RetroTwitchCom. That'll get you in. Super fun thing. Things are in the works to work with the community more. So there you go. We're also part of Anime Radicals. Red Leaf Retrocast, part of the Anime Radicals podcast community. Hopefully to get more episodes out over there. So go check them out. Anime Radicals.
Nice.
Or they got Twitter. They're on the SoundCloud, the Spotify, all that stuff.
Yes, the Spotify.
The Spotify. But we're also on Spotify. We're also on iTunes. Oh yeah.
When did we get on Spotify?
Oh,
weeks ago.
June last year.
Whoa.
Oh wow, I was way off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been on Spotify a long time, man.
Wow, I should probably, put on a playlist and listen to it. What do people do on Spotify?
Listen to stuff, music and podcasts and whatnot. Anyways, again, we have that ongoing contest. If you're an anime listener, anime fan, enter the contest by leaving us an iTunes review. Let us know who you are via Twitter or sending us an email. Everything's in the description below. Gift card for High Dive. We'll announce the winner before the spring season starts.
All you gotta do is let us know what brand deodorant do you use.
So our next episode is episode 40, which means it's a special episode. So we'll have
I can't be there. Oh man,
no! So it's going to be a console special, which means Console Kev. Are we going to do the 3DO? Is it going to happen? We're going to do the ZX Spectrum.
I feel like your audience doesn't appreciate when you say mean things like that.
Come on, everybody look forward to those things. We got a console to pick. We got in the works for episode 50, which we should get to this year, in theory, for Console Wars episode. That'll be super fun. We've been kind of saving some games for that one specifically.
Nice.
Yeah. And this has been episode 39. These games are 90s as fuck. And thank you for listening to the Red Leaf Retrocast. See you next time.
Radical!
Peace out.
Nice.
Oh, amazing.
All right.
Oh man, I just found the best quote of the Google controller. I wish we could squeeze it in the episode. Oh, my Audacity's still recording. Hold on. The Google controller is whatever the opposite of porn is.
Okay.
That's a great way to describe it.
I don't know what that means.
It means it's so unappealing, I guess. that the girl that tweeted said, "I think my ovaries now have cobwebs on them."
Oh, wow. Okay. That's the thing, I guess.
So that's a way to describe it.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Sure, girl. Oh, that was a lot of Pierce. Put that out there.
What is this shit you put on Twitter, Kevin?
Oh, the face?
Yeah.
That was my Red Leaf Retrocast face.
My God.
Oh boy.
I slowly sank more and more into my couch. We recorded. And also, I look like a thumb, apparently.
Okay.
A full neck beard going there.
Full neck beard. I shaved recently. It was quite nice.
Oh, I'm hungry. Exporting now.
Yeah, I'm self.
Oh, I'm always hungry after these. I want to like make food and be responsible, but also Subway.